There's no sound.
Yeah,
I can't hear you. Can you hear us?
Can you hear us now?
Yes.
We got you.
You had the mute button on. Good job.
I'm about to pull them out of the stage and do this all over again.
We can do it again.
I'm upset.
Round 2. Let's go.
No, now we remembered. It's okay.
Hey, this is
all right.
This is real life.
You know what? This is real life. Okay. If I told you guys how my day went today, you guys would be like, what the hell? So I will start out by saying this. I don't know if you got, no, you're not gonna be able to see it. See that like dried up stuff on my hands? This is like 10 times better than it was. So here's what happened. I decided that I was going to do a DIY Halloween decoration.
Uh-oh.
Unbeknownst to me, I did not know that you cannot touch expanding foam. Who would have thought? So after 3 hours of pumice stone, acetone, brake cleaner, carb cleaner, olive oil, what else did we try? Peanut butter.
All mine came off.
Gasoline and everything else. I'm surprised I have hands.
Oh
You don't know what you're doing this on.
With that being said, I still have my hands, so we are okay. Shonda, Michael, Fredericksburg Paranormal. Hello,
What's up,
hello.
guys? And
Yes.
Yes. Well, I'm so happy you guys were able to join us.
Yes,
Yes.
thanks for having us. We're excited.
Tell us a little bit about L&M Paranormal. Who are you? Where are you? All that fun stuff.
We are out of Abilene, Kansas, and we specialize in residential cases. We like to go to historic locations and investigate those for fun. And he films it, and he likes to edit the videos. Let's see what else.
Did you say residential?
Yeah, residential is our bread and butter. We love to help people, so that's kind of what we're all about.
We've kind of dabbled this year in hosting a few events. We've had some success at it. It's not really our thing, but we'll do it every once in a while. It's okay. Leah does mediumship readings between all these investigations, helping people out and stuff there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of what.
Well, that's interesting. We don't get a whole lot of teams that specialize in residential. That's a big deal.
What we want to do more than we like going places and doing videos and stuff, sure, but part of our past, we lived in a haunted house in North Carolina back in
2000s,
2011, and
now it's still the 2000s.
Yeah.
And we, this is back before Facebook and stuff, and we didn't have anybody to reach out to.
We're old. Why would you say that?
You're old. I am not old.
Anyway.
Hey, Fredericksburg Paranormal. Thanks for joining us. Daryl Paulette with Bedford Paranormal also has an awesome location here, not too far from us in Appomattox, Virginia, Clover Hill Village. So if you guys ever make your way to Virginia and want to do some investigating, great location.
Absolutely.
But as I was saying,
Fredericksburg does too, though.
They do.
In Virginia.
There's so many awesome locations in Virginia.
It is.
There really is. I would need like a Rolodex. Like one of those old school, like our parents would go look for phone numbers, like through the little flip thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you wouldn't even have to leave the state to find all those cool places.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
It's kind of like that meme I saw the other day when they said if you were born in it was like, what did it say? If you were born in like 83 to 1990, how does it feel to be from the 1900s?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I'm so old.
I gave my whole phone the middle finger.
Because that way, you're like, God, I'm ancient. Sitting in the DFW in Dallas, waiting for a flight home. Yes. Mr. Sullivan is
the man himself, the EVP man.
Yes, is on his way home. Hey, Ronnie Anderson, Bedford Paranormal.
Salute.
Got some awesome people in here. So I want to kind of talk a little bit. Why do you guys why do you coin yourselves as specializing in residential? Beside the obvious reason. And the reason I'm asking is because there's a lot of teams that steer clear of residentials. Our team is actually one of them. That is not our preference. That's not, we don't jump and say we specialize in residentials.
We will do them sometimes after screening.
Yeah, if I have somebody that reaches out to me and sounds, desperate and needing help, just me as a human, I can't let that go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, I guess I'm very intrigued to meet a team that's your specialty. I mean, because we all investigate, we all go to paracons and events and things like that. But you're opposite. You specialize in residential, and the cons and the events are not your thing.
Well, I wouldn't say they're not our thing. We do them, but residential is where we feel called to, helping people. It's not as exciting as going to Missouri State Penitentiary or Waverly Hills or something. But when you go to a location for a family who's legitimately needing help, and you can help them, that satisfaction and that fulfillment from actually helping a family is 100 times better than going to any historically haunted location that I can think of. We've been in the family shoes before, where we lived in a haunted house and we had nobody to reach out to. Somehow this happened. My wife reached out to TAPS Ghost Hunters, Jason and Grant, and they actually filmed an episode of Ghost Hunters at our house, which was crazy. But it's being in the shoes of the family who they don't know who to reach out to, and it's hard to reach out to because you sound crazy. You're reaching out to a complete stranger. You're saying, I need help, and this is what's going on. And you're really putting yourself out there and hoping that somebody just doesn't look at you and say, you are nuts. Mm-hmm. So that takes a big leap of faith on the residents' part. And then on our part, it's a lot of work. You got to do the investigating. You have to ask hard questions of, mental health and drug abuse and, trauma throughout your family and stuff like that. So it's a lot of work. And at the end of the day, the only payoff you get is the satisfaction of helping a family. So it's not as sexy as going to, those big locations, but it's where we feel our calling is at. And
yeah.
Okay. I mean, go ahead.
Following up on a lot of our comments from other teams that we have in the podcast, they say, like Ronnie says, Ronnie and Daryl both agree that it's a lot of liability, which I can definitely, that's one reason why we steer clear of it. Even though I'm not opposed to it, I actually enjoy smaller locations more. But how do y'all, handle your liability aspect to doing the house calls?
Well, before, excuse me, before we do anything in the house, we have them sign waivers. And there's a whole list of them that we'll have them sign. Mm-hmm. Then it's just her and I that'll go in there. We don't bring in a whole team. Man, I'm sorry.
All right.
Yeah. We don't bring in a whole team. We don't post anything about it. I mean, we may say, hey, we're going to a residential, wish us luck, but we don't say anything. We don't put anything on YouTube without the homeowner's written and verbal permission. So there's a whole list of things that we're going to go through before we step foot inside this person's house.
Mm-hmm. Lots of interviews, because the whole goal is to solve the problem without even stepping foot in the house. So you got to get really good at making them comfortable and being their friend. And we like to do 2 or 3 interviews before we even decide that we'll go there.
Okay.
They have to, in a sense, kind of work for it. And we have to do the research and kind of develop the relationship and decide there is really paranormal activity going on, or they just probably need to see a doctor or try these other things. We just have a whole list of other things you try before we go straight to it's, paranormal activity.
Right.
That's great.
Hey, Rhonda Harris, medium on Fredericksburg Paranormal.
Just about the whole FPI crew.
I know. I love it. I love it.
I love how teams support teams on this podcast.
I do want to go back to Ronnie's comment, though. You said that you the only payoff is at the end of the day you're helping people. Ronnie had asked how do you help people?
Well, it depends on the location and what specifically is going on.
We always ask them, what is your end goal? Do you want to learn to live with the paranormal activity, with the spirits in the house, or would you like to work on removing them from your life? And so depending on what they say is kind of the outcome. And then if it's above what we can do for them, we have a network of people that we reach out to, and we give them options, because we have our own written way of, dissipating the activity.
But it may not be something that their beliefs line up with. So that's, you have to be able to line up to their beliefs.
That's important to us.
We're a Christian team, but not everybody's Christian. We recognize that.
Yeah.
So,
and that's okay. So we have friends that have other ways of helping them, remove or protect them from the energy. So that's kind of the route that we go. And we always follow up with them. They're always welcome to always reach out to us anytime. And it's a long process. It's not, like Ghostbusters where you trap it and then you leave, or, it's not a one and done thing. It does take time. And that's what we're here for. So it's kind of like therapy sometimes.
Well, that speaks volumes of y'all to even say that I reach out to friends who can help further and help in other ways, because this show is the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's unsaid. You can speak your mind, say what you want, but a lot of teams don't have the humbleness to say, "Hey, I need help." They'll go in there just for another investigation. So I highly commend y'all for even making that statement. That's
Thank
awesome. And that's really cool how y'all help people. Give them options, respect the religion. That's things that doesn't get talked about very often.
It's really important, because that's part of being respect and building that relationship with your client. Like what do you have faith in? And that's where the avenue we go. And we've both been open to learning about different faith, different religion, different beliefs, because it's just not one thing. Religion isn't a box. It's just a church. So
that's right.
I agree with that.
And good evening, Miss Kim Sage. Thank you for joining us. Kim Sage, medium, psychic. She does tarot readings. She does it all.
She's awesome.
We love.
We got the whole FPR crew.
I know. I love everybody that's in here right now.
I do want to plug Rhonda Harris does a podcast after this one.
Totally freaking awesome paranormal show.
With Ryan Jones. That's awesome.
That's right. Hey, April, the paranormal variant.
And look how many.
I know. I love it.
That's freaking awesome.
We got to catch up.
I can't say freaking awesome. That's
Ryan. We can't say freaking awesome. That's Ryan's show.
Totally.
Ryan and Rhonda's show. Yeah. All right. Ronnie wants to know how many cases found that are valid and had to reach out to someone.
Good question.
Actually, we just finished up our first case where we did have to reach out to a few different types of people.
Mm-hmm. It was kind of a difficult one. Lots of layers to it, and we ended up reaching out to someone who works with crystals. She works with the Warren Legacy Foundation, and then we also reached out to a shaman. Mm-hmm. And presented them with different options, but they definitely had valid paranormal activity going on. They had valid reason for concern, and they just needed some options to figure out which route they would like to go, and any one of them would work, but whatever was comfortable with them. Each case that we've worked has been valid. I think we've had one where we figured out it wasn't.
Yeah.
They were
not
they needed mental help, to say it nicely. And so you just kindly refer them to go get help like that first,
So you have like an arsenal of resources that are on hand to offer to every case that you take.
Yes. And that's
whether it's drug related or mental health. Because right now in America, and I don't mean to cut you off, but right now in America, it's no secret mental health is a big problem. And some of the calls, you are right. Some of the calls that come in to teams to do a residential do sound completely off the wall.
Mhm.
And,
Right.
and we've gotten a couple. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
One I didn't follow up with solely because I knew the person and I knew that they were a drug addict. You
Yeah.
know, and so it's like we've offered this person help before. We know that you see shit at 2 a.m. We know this. This isn't a secret. The whole town knows it. You know,
Yeah.
but you know, mental health is a big thing, and you know, lack of resources there is a big thing. I feel like we as a whole country need to do better.
I agree.
Right.
I mean, it really is. I mean, we were having a conversation with somebody the other day, and I think we threw it out there that everybody has mental health issues. You know, at the end of the day, I mean, we all do. Somebody
We
has,
all have trauma. We all have a story, and we've all been through something and more than something. And when you don't heal from that trauma or whatever happened, then that adds on in your life. And if you don't fully heal from it, it can lead to drug problems and you just problems. You know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I agree. So Ronnie Anderson said that the reason he asked his question before was because he said his team worked with the Catholic Church and did interviews with full reports. We've done so many private cases. 90% of those cases were bogus, though. They were not one and done, and they were over multiple trips, which is the same thing that you said. So that sounds like that's almost like a universal, like written law in residential cases. So it's not one and done.
Right.
Yeah, we've had many people reach out to us, and we'll do the first, maybe even a second interview, and me and her and I will talk amongst ourselves, and we'll come to the conclusion like, listen, this isn't something that's paranormal. This is something that fits in another box. It's not paranormal, and we'll give them suggestions on where they should go, whether they go to those places or not. We can't force them, but yeah, he's right. A lot of people will say, I have X, Y, and Z going on, and it's not paranormal. It's something else, drugs or mental health, or
who knows?
They're just looking for attention. We've had that too. They just
too.
They want somebody to come out and hang out at their house.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to recognize that when you do the interviews.
They need some friends.
They need some friends.
Tyler Darnell, haunted photographer in the house. Also, I believe a member of FPRI.
I believe so. Yeah.
I think Tyler's also. We really do have the whole FPRI crew in here.
How many are there?
A lot. They're everywhere. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
They just merge. All right. So you've got John, Kim, Rhonda, Tyler, Shonda, Mike. Who am I missing?
I think that's all I know.
I got 6.
Those are the ones
John,
I met,
correct me. Do you have more than 6 people?
Those are the ones I met at least.
Kim said we've grown this year. I can tell, Kim. All right. I'm going to keep up with it. Let's see. Daryl Paulette said, if they do have a legit case, when do you get to the point in trying to help someone and you finally say you can't?
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Jason Sage and Syndra. Jason Sage, Kim's husband, and Syndra. So,
Right.
and Grace, Tyler's wife.
I believe I met Jason. I haven't met Syndra yet.
We're just fired. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9. 9.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yay.
Awesome team. So yeah, when do you get to the point in trying to help someone and you finally say you can't?
When we've helped them. So like we've done the interviews, we've determined that we should go out there. We go out and we do our investigation. We review the evidence, and my red flag is while I'm reviewing the evidence, they bring in more people to investigate after we've been there, and they haven't even heard what we have to say yet.
Can I stop for a second? That right there is huge, and I didn't even think of that doing cases. If you're asking us to do something, and you're bringing in other people, and they haven't even seen nothing you came up with or heard anything, that's a lack of respect, in my opinion.
I think that comes, and I understand from the the homeowner's point of view. So they come to you and they're in a crisis mode, right? So you have to learn to deal with this crisis mode. They want you right then, right there, and they want you to have the answer to the problem. And it just doesn't work that way. So you have to calm them down, and you have to do the interviews and everything, and then give them things to do before you get there. And then while we're reviewing the evidence, I always check in on them. But then when they start bringing in people, that's when I kind of slow down. Like, is this not important to you? You know what I mean?
I mean, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's just that's something that gets missed in conversation as well.
Yeah.
I can imagine,
bringing in other people while we're still in the middle of our investigation, yes, is disrespectful. We do see their point of view, but also the bigger thing is they don't know who they're bringing in.
Right.
So they're bringing in people who
go there. Yeah.
And,
I was just thinking about that. Like,
person that she's talking about, they brought in somebody who they didn't really know, and then turns out she's into voodoo, and
oh Jesus, take the wheel.
God.
And planted the seed of bad thoughts in her head. So everything that she told them, she was blowing up to a bigger deal. And when we got there, we said we had to reframe her way of thinking, saying, okay, well, that's not what this is. It's this,
and here's why.
And here's why. So to answer his question, when do we reach the point that we say we can't help, where we're done helping? Either A, we have helped them. B, they're not doing the things that we suggest, and they're turning into an ask hole. They just keep asking and asking and asking. And at that point, we're all just spinning our wheels and like, listen, either we obviously are not the team for you, so we're going to refer you to another team, and maybe they can help you, or we're gonna have this person come in and maybe they're the person for you, because we're not the people for everybody,
right?
And that's okay, but we know a lot of people, so we'll refer you to as many people as we can, and somebody out there can help you.
Yes,
right. I mean, Ronnie said my advice, just be careful. The world is crazy. And just to kind of piggyback off of that, and piggyback off of what you were saying, if you bring in other teams while you're in the middle of an investigation, that is just cross-contamination like no other. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say you're in an active investigation and or even if you're to the point where you're reviewing, you've already done your investigation, you're reviewing evidence. Like you said, you don't know who's coming in and who's bringing in what with them. Yeah. So now you've got, you went from dealing with one entity that could possibly be controlled to God knows what these people open the door to. And now you've got a whole crew of ghosts just wreaking havoc.
Yeah.
And we tell everybody every single time, it doesn't matter where we go or where we're investigating, whether it's residential, whether it's at a location, you really honestly, at the end of the day, don't know what or who you're communicating with.
Correct.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So in the case of like the voodoo queen that came in or whatever, you don't know what she brought in with her. And these people are already in a panic. And so now all of a sudden they think that they need all this other extra shit that they don't need. Like, hold on, grandma's just here letting you know she's here. Like, it could have been something that simple. So, that's another big reason why residentials are not on my top priority list. Namely, because I just don't feel like I'm qualified to go in and cleanse. And around here, our resources are limited.
Really?
So, I could call my friends at, say, Fredericksburg Paranormal. They've got several psychic mediums on their team. They've got other, highly talented people on their team. I could call my friends at Bedford Paranormal and be like, hey, I need help and things like that. But, now you're working around other people's schedules. And then, like I said, the liability, the mental health, the drug problem. And my biggest thing is around here, I would want the homeowner to be present.
Yep.
During the investigation, because your grandma's pearl necklace from 1932 is not in my pocket, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I-
that's another thing that you good point. We make sure that the homeowner is present. We do ask that they leave for just a little bit so we can make sure that it's the house and not the person that's causing the issues. But yeah, we make sure the homeowner is there and an active participant in everything that's going on because ultimately it's their house. They have to take control over their house. I can't do it for them.
Yeah, and I apologize so much for cutting y'all off, but y'all bring up so many good points, and my mind is so scatterbrained. If I don't stop you, I'm
No,
gonna
it's okay.
forget. But like y'all hit on some really good important things. Number one, to protect yourself, and two, to protect the client, so to speak. Um, I think it's very interesting that y'all specialize, and that's what y'all do because we kind of try to avoid it, but again, we'll help people if they reach out.
Yeah.
But when you're dealing with a residential or a private investigation and stuff like that, there's so many precautions that you got to take, and I think it's phenomenal. You guys are brave enough to do it.
One of the best precautions that every team takes, and I don't know whether they even realize they're doing it, but everybody has cameras everywhere.
Yeah,
You set up DVR cameras. You're recording everything you're doing for the investigation. And we do the same thing. We set up the same equipment at a residential case as we do at any other pay-to-play location. So if they come back and they say, "Hey, you did this, that, or the other," I'm like, "No, I've got it all on video right here. You can see all of us." So that's another good layer of protection for you right there. That camera doesn't turn off until we leave the location.
and that's good because that's protecting your own ass.
Yeah.
And Kim said some cases people make things worse not knowing what they're doing by acting like they do. I'm all for staying in my lane. Kim, I'm
Absolutely.
cruising around in my own lane too. That is a big thing.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with saying I don't do residential cases. That's fine.
Yeah, it's no big deal.
Do your
And there's
thing.
nothing wrong with for us who do residential cases saying, "Hey, you're a Wiccan or you're a whatever religion you are, and I don't know anything about that. So
We're going to refer to
we'll
somebody who does."
we'll find you somebody else."
Yes.
But
Now, do you guys travel?
within reason, as we don't charge for our investigations, for a residential investigation. So obviously we kind of have to keep it within reason for us. So since we're in Kansas, I think the farthest we've gone is 100 miles, maybe 150 for a residential. But pretty much in Kansas was where we're going to try to stay, within 100 150 miles of Abilene. There we go. How's that sound?
All right, there you go. Ronnie said, when you do a cleansing, you really have to know what you're doing. There is a wrong way. You just can't go out and buy sage and do your own cleansing.
Yep.
I got the sage at Hobby
Again,
Lobby.
for the people in the back.
That is, yes, that is,
Hobby Lobby.
that is true. That is true. I saged
Walmart.
What did I see the other day on Facebook? I saged my house and the kids started running around in circles and I couldn't figure out why they were choking.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Yes. As a matter of fact, I have a big thing whenever we move into a new place. I always sage my place and I happen to be out of sage. And I walked into our nearest metaphysical store and I looked at the lady and I had the kindest woman stop me. And I wasn't even thinking, I was just in a hurry. And she said, "No, ma'am, you cannot buy that." And I said, "What? I need to cleanse my house. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know what was in there before me, And she said, "No, you can't buy your own bundle of sage. Please allow me as a home warming gift to buy this sage for you." And so that's when I learned, and this was, years ago, this is when I learned that you're not even supposed to go and buy your own sage. It's supposed to be gifted.
Mm-hmm.
So I still keep it. She actually bought me 2 bundles. And now that's what I do. I gift that. If I know somebody's moving, that's what I'm giving you. Just please, for all those that are listening, open the windows. The kids can't be running around choking.
Yeah.
We all know they're little demons.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh man,
Come to think about it, weren't you choking when I was saging the house?
I wasn't in the house. I had to move everything.
Yes, that is true. But true story. I did have a friend come over while I was in the midst of saging,
Yeah.
and she was like about to die. She had to exit the house, and I was like, And I don't think she stepped in this house since.
I don't think so.
I don't.
You may have to save yourself right there. You don't even know. You can
I
save
need to
yourself.
reevaluate my friends here. Like,
You're safe.
I might have somebody in my back pocket that is not welcome in my life. So do you guys do cleansing, or do you have people that come out and cleanse?
We do. We offer it. But again, depending on what they believe, because I am a firm believer in that. We'll have someone else come out or who they're comfortable with to do that. Their pastor, their shaman, whoever. But we do offer that, yes.
Okay. All right.
Now, what's your worst experiences with doing the residential?
Worst as in scariest, or
It could be scary. It could be bad.
I want to hear about the scariest.
Yeah, let's break this up a little bit. Then, let's do your scariest.
okay. Man, we haven't really had any scary ones.
Yeah.
I mean, our first one. Well, no, it wasn't our first one. Had a creepy feeling.
Andrea's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did a residential, and she was convinced there was something dark in our house. And it did have kind of a vibe to it, It was a heavy vibe. There you go. That's a good word. And I actually got one of my best pieces of evidence to date from this house, and it's on my YouTube of several shadows chasing each other through the living room, and we're standing right there in the living room. And it's broad daylight. It's not nighttime yet. And yeah, I got it on my DVR camera. But so the heaviness in the house kind of made you feel off a little bit. But once we figured out who it was family that was just trying to get their attention. It was a mixture between grandpa and her disabled niece. Her niece had multiple sclerosis,
Mm-hmm.
and so she was wheelchair confined. And after she passed, she was one of the shadows that was kind of dancing, as the way she put it, in the living room. So that was the shadow that she was seeing. Those was the footsteps that she was hearing. And once we kind of gave her that piece of knowledge and the evidence, that changed the vibe of the entire house.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
now they still live there, and they're happy as can be. So the vibe of it wasn't scary, but the vibe was, when you walked in, you're like, well, I can feel it. I can cut it with a knife, But once we figured out who and what it was, it changed everything.
It was them kids running around after the sage. That's what you caught on camera.
Yeah.
I want to see it. Where is it? What is your YouTube channel if we want to go check that out?
L&M Paranormal.
Okay.
The logo is this guy.
All right, perfect. We're gonna have to go see the shadows.
Yeah, I'm definitely go check it out. That's another thing
I'm fascinated.
I love about interviewing teams is that you get to go check out new things and new people's. I like looking at people's evidence. I don't criticize it, but I like looking at it.
I like a fair bit of constructive criticism. I mean, if you disagree with what I'm catching, what I'm presenting, I want to know. Say, hey, it could be this, or I'm sorry, excuse me, or something else. Because maybe you're seeing, you have a better idea of debunking it than I do. I want my evidence to be debunked. Otherwise, if you can't debunk it, then it's good evidence.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would rather put out a video that had no evidence than put out a video that has bogus evidence,
Now, how often has someone came to you and like, that's not what that is, and or tried to debunk your evidence?
Oh, quite a bit. Yeah, especially the orbs. We're believers in orbs. I also believe that a lot of it's dust. But you have to take each orb and put it under its own level of scrutiny. And but I do believe that there are orbs. I've seen them with my own eyes in the daytime. And I've caught some really cool ones.
I
was waiting on Ronnie.
I was
Here we go.
We have to put out a disclaimer prior to discussing
every time we just bring up orbs. What does Ronnie say?
Here we go.
they're all dust or something, right?
Yeah,
Or it's a bug.
Ronnie's theory is, but you have something that he like hit some key things that Ronnie will tell you.
I was waiting on Ronnie.
If you do not see it with your own two eyes, it's not an orb.
Well,
you
I
know,
would disagree a little bit, but you know,
there it is. I was waiting.
the end.
They're incredible if you see them with your own eyes. The end.
Now,
We love
what
Ronnie.
if you see this orb on camera and that orb you could see it set off your equipment?
Well, see, and okay,
That one
so
too.
we've had a similar situation to that, to where, well, there was two that ring a bell to me. I had a doll on a chair and a REM pod in between the doll's legs, like the doll was sitting with her legs open, and the REM was in between. A light anomaly of some sort flies down, and mind you, nobody was in this room. It was a stationary camera. Flies down towards the REM, disappears. The REM goes off. That was my one favorite orb. Second favorite orb that we had was we caught on camera. We had a team member that was sitting, her back was against the wall. A light anomaly comes down, goes behind her head about right here. You see her reach up, go like this, say on camera, "I need a break." She went outside, she smoked a cigarette, she came back in and she said to me, she said, "Can you check my neck? Because I feel like a bug bit me." And she had a scarf on. It was wintertime. So I pulled her scarf down and there were 3 thin cat-like scratches on the back of her neck.
New ones.
And they were I do as a debunker is I grab her hands and I look. I have nails. She is a gardener for a living. She has no nails whatsoever. It's not possible that she could have scratched her own. And even if she did, our finger width is like that. Like if we were to scratch, these were like, I can't even do it. Like they were thin paper-like scratches really close together, almost like a cat scratch maybe.
With fresh blood coming from it.
So that's another one. And we were having some negative interaction with this entity at the time. So,
I'm not going to get into the whole orb or dust conversation just because everybody has their personal belief. And I respect everybody's belief on them.
Ronnie, you're a pooper.
I respect everybody's belief on orbs. I do like, we were going to ask you orb or dust, but y'all obviously believe in it. I believe in them. I believe in them myself. I've seen them with my eyes, and I've seen things that are floating around that aren't moving like dust should in an empty room. Now, I have lots of videos of dust in a room, and I've also seen things that I can't explain as far as a light anomaly or an orb goes.
Wait a minute. Ronnie said he got an orb on camera. I have one on camera that moved 40, 50 foot one way, looped back around another 40, 50 foot in about 3 frames. But the only reason it's credible is because we've seen it with our own eyes.
But what if you were looking the other way?
Yeah.
Like, what if you weren't there or you
That's
were...
exactly what I was thinking. You read my mind.
Some orbs are quick. What if you sneezed and then an orb flew by and you didn't see it? So I got lots of questions when it comes to that theory. But however, we respect Ronnie's opinion.
That's true.
We love Ronnie.
Yeah.
I will call Ronnie today if I have a question.
I'm going to call Ronnie and talk shit about orbs.
Yeah.
April said she saw one with her own eyes at the Velisca Axe House. She's still 50-50 on that.
Yeah.
And that's, I do think when it comes to orbs, you absolutely have to rewind several times and really slow down, go frame by frame, things like that.
Yeah, you got to be very, very...
90% of the time, I don't even put it in as evidence.
Yeah.
I really don't. It's got to be mind-blowingly like, whoa. At least to where people will look at it and question it, and it starts a conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
well, see, we run a, I'm slacking right now, so I'm ashamed to say this, but we run a weekly orb or dust question on our TikTok where we will put up and I like seeing everybody go back and forth in the comments, orb, dust, orb, I like it. So
yeah, it gets people talking, gets them thinking too.
yeah.
So we try to do that about once a week, take a evidence video. And sometimes, to be real honest with you, I put them up because, we have personal experiences here. We as well live in a haunted house. We're not dealing with anything malicious. We cohabitate very well. The gentleman passed away in December a couple years ago. Not last December.
I thought it was February.
No, he passed away in December. We closed on the house in March. So he very much still resides here and makes his presence known. There's a lot of days when you exit the room. We have like a ring system. And when you exit the room, an orb will fly out of the closed door in which the room he passed away in. It will make a complete turn, go down the stairs, and then turn again and go to the kitchen. So it's almost making like a box. Mm-hmm. Like I've never seen a bug move that methodically before. I could be wrong. And then at the same time, a cabinet will open in the kitchen and that's caught on camera. You know what I'm saying? Or we'll hear boots around the
Ronnie put dust.
Ronnie, you're about to be dust in a minute. All right. Let's see. Ryan, great show. It was good to see you. Yes, Ryan, I'm so glad you stopped in, even though it was a brief moment. We left shortly after you did, but it was great to see you this past weekend. I feel like
Love the beard.
Yeah, Sean was talking about your beard. Let's see. Ryan also said, I saw an orb fly through a closed window at the cabin. We have that on camera. Ronnie is questioning me and then laughing at me. Daryl said, don't worry, I call Ronnie names all the time. This is just my opinion, not beating anybody up. No, Ronnie, like we said, we love everybody's opinions.
We respect everybody's opinion.
You know, the key is that it's Mike, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That Mike said constructive criticism. Don't get on somebody's. I don't care where you are. If it's L&M, if it's Hill City Paranormal, if it's Bedford Paranormal, FPR, I don't care what team site you're on. Do not get on and automatically just start going to these people are faking evidence, because there are so many factors there that you are not accounting for, and the number one factor being you weren't there.
That's the biggest thing. I can't call somebody on something unless I clearly see what they're doing or I was there. Just say it. Even with the constructive criticism thing, my personal opinion on it, it's like I can't give you that criticism if I'm not there. Now, if I clearly see like you taking a reflection of a window and I can see the other reflection, I can say, hey, you might want to check that other window.
Yeah, absolutely.
Other than that, I really can't. I'm not. First of all, what qualifies somebody to critique somebody? You know,
I was just gonna say there's nobody is an expert in this field. You know, there's no such thing as an expert in paranormal. You have a lot of experience, but you know what makes you an expert? You know,
nothing.
So you have to remember that nobody knows all of it. You know, so you can learn something even from people who've been doing it for 30 years can learn something from somebody who just started.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We say
learn from everybody.
We say it all the time. We host a location here with public investigations, and those are my favorite to do because I get to sit back and watch. I get to sit back and watch, and I'm just there for questions, and I absolutely love, and I will say it loud, I will say it proud, I will say it in the investigation. I love watching everybody's different techniques.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're so cool because I will pick up from some of them. Even those, I just sat giving you a 30-minute tutorial on how to use this equipment and what to say and what to do. And then but it's ultimately up to you to go out and like take that info and utilize that in your own way. So then I'll watch my group that I'm with and I'm like, man, these people are geniuses.
Yes.
Those are the real pros. Is somebody who's never investigated before.
You know, they really are.
They get some of the best evidence too. So.
Yes,
they do. They do.
Yes, Daryl said, "Amen." If you're not there, keep your comments to yourself. Yep. Ronnie said, "So correct." Absolutely, yes. We, at the end of the day, I will hashtag it Paraunity. That's really, I say it, I preach it constantly, and the biggest thing is we live it. We drove 2.5 hours to have dinner with another team, the Haunting Angels. Shout out to them. Just this past weekend, they came up to the cabin on the 360, and it's 2.5 hours away from us. They, we said, let's get up and have dinner.
Yeah.
So para-unity is not a myth. It's just a hidden art.
It can be a challenge sometimes.
Art.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I say it's not a myth, in my opinion, of course, is because look at how many teams do it. I mean, para-unity is the fact that every person watching right now just about is in another team. You could be doing anything.
But you're sitting here looking at my pretty face.
Yeah, you're sitting here listening to us talk about paranormal stuff. So there are teams that do it. It's just the ones that don't screw it up for everybody else.
Ronnie, I had dinner with a group from out of town. They never spoke to me. I'm done with you. I am done with you, Ronnie. I'm done. I'm
Now
done.
you see why we love Ronnie.
Get out. We know, Ronnie. We don't get spoke to either.
Yeah, there's a few teams that don't speak to me no more either. And that's fine. I guess
April, I agree.
we say a lot of stuff people disagree with.
Yeah.
But
It's okay.
other people say stuff that I disagree with, and I still talk to them.
It's all right to disagree with people. You know, you have some of the best conversations with people you disagree with.
Yeah.
Ron and I disagree on certain things, but that dude shows up to every podcast we have. And if he called me, I'd show up to wherever he needed me to go or do whatever he needed me to do.
That's right.
It's, that's what I don't understand about the parent.
You heard that, Ronnie. I've got April in my calendar, but you got to make sure you stay on this one for it.
What's that?
EnigmaCon.
Oh, yeah. And you got to stay on me. I'm going to be there.
Let's see.
God willing.
I agree there, though, that there's that's a damn tongue twister, April. That there, though. All right. There's people you click with and some you don't, but that's okay. I agree. Not everybody's going to vibe.
Yeah.
Ronnie, I believe there's para-unity between most groups, but the one bad apple. There's always a bad apple.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yep. He's absolutely right.
There's always a bad apple. But again, like April said, you don't click with them, you don't vibe with them, you steer clear.
Yeah, it's
You
okay.
just move on.
We're here because Hill City is the bombs. Woo woo.
We appreciate it.
We're here because every single person in this chat is the bomb.
Yes.
Ronnie said you better be there.
I'm going to be there.
He told you. You saw it.
Talking about orbs.
Yeah.
Talking about orbs.
Is there a vendor spot or like a speaker spot available for Sean to talk about orbs for 45 minutes?
I don't think I can have a 45-minute conversation about orbs. But
Michael, support where you can. Yes, absolutely. Michael, you know what? I'm going to give Michael a personal shout out.
we got to.
So I know you guys probably don't know. Everybody in the chat gets sick of me talking about it, but Sean is a Nashville recording artist, and we had a music video shoot last week. Michael drove from Timbuktu to the Hill City just to sit as an extra in a chapel for us.
Oh.
That is para-unity,
That
you
look
guys.
he gave me was disturbing, though. I'm having nightmares with that look Michael gave me. He's a hell of an actor, by the way.
We love you, Ronnie. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Michael Brooks. He drove all the way down, put a suit on, and sat in a chapel for 3 hours. It
Yeah.
was great.
Listen to the same song over
And over again. Music video recording
Trust
is
me,
not
just
for the
as-
faint of heart,
just
y'all.
As bad as you got tired of hearing it, Michael, I got tired of singing it over and over again.
That's funny. But so I think let's see, we covered traveling. What did I miss?
We didn't miss much. I'm still interested in this house call thing.
Yeah, I think that's pretty dope.
I really think that was a really cool conversation to have publicly.
Shonda said it was probably because it was country. Ronnie said I would have done that. Ronnie, I think you had to work.
We'll get Ronnie in the next
Yeah,
one.
Ronnie, you're going to be in the next one. We're going to do a spooky song.
So what kind of equipment do y'all use when y'all go out?
Oh, yeah.
Y'all use this,
Is it different for house calls? That's a good one.
yeah, I was just about to say, is it different for house calls? Or do you use all your normal stuff? And
Nope, we'll use the same equipment. I think right now our favorite piece is the obviously the REM pod, the tripwire. That's a big one.
I got REM pod fans.
REM pod.
REM pod fans.
It has its place. It has
I
its
love
place.
the damn REM pod.
I like the tripwire though. I do.
You like the tracer wire.
I like both of them.
I like the tracer wire, but I don't like the design of that. The clear strip always makes little waves in there, and it gives you false readings. So I have a problem. We have to tape it down with clear tape. Other than that, though, I do like that piece. And I just bought a tri-field for this one residential case.
There you go. You don't want Sean for the rest of the show. I can just step out now at this point.
Yep. Get out of here.
Sean is a tri-field advocate all day.
I got 2 of them.
You got 2. Well, I need to up my game then.
Well, no,
Go get 3.
I got 2 for different reasons, but I'm going to say this. You're like I guess people use them, but nobody talks about the tri-field. I think the tri-field is gold. Like if I didn't have anything at all, if I have a tri-field, I'm good.
Well, it could help explain a lot of stuff, especially at a residential location. You're down in the basement. Why does it feel creepy in the basement? Well, I don't know. You got exposed wires all over the place, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think Ronnie and I talked about that too. The tri-field.
He says
people will spend hundreds of dollars on a REM pod, on a custom REM pod, on a custom portal, spirit box, but won't spend the money for a good tri-field. That thing is the bomb. If there's EMF somewhere, it's going to find it.
I will say this. I'm going to need you independent equipment makers to stop making cool shit. Because I find myself on Etsy entirely way too much. It's unhealthy for me. I've got a cigarette REM pod on the way. A pack of cigarettes. Like you open it up and like the cigarette is in the pack. And when you touch it, it's a REM.
I love that.
I had that idea years ago. I just didn't know. I don't have to know how to make it.
Well,
you know what?
I'll tell you what though. If you have an idea in your head and you don't know how to get it into an actual thing,
Booze Paranormal.
When they get back up and go, I'm trying to tell you, look them up. I literally took a cigar that was used as a stage prop for a movie and said, Ron, I need you to turn this into a silent REM pod. I don't want no noise. All I want is for the piece that lights up where you hit it to smoke.
The cherry.
To light up the cherry. He made me an ashtray with a cigar sitting on it that I gave him and said, here's your REM pod. And like this happened within a couple weeks.
The dude's a freaking genius, you guys.
Yeah.
Booze Paranormal. BOO_S. Booze Paranormal. Look him up.
It's Christmas money on some stuff.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he's affordable. His turnaround is quick. Right now, though, we are keeping Booze Paranormal in our prayers. They did have a house fire, so they are down right now, out of commission. That's the word I was looking for.
I think he said in a few weeks.
But he said a few weeks he's going to be up and going. Everybody's good, but if everybody could please just keep him and his family in our prayers, that would be great. But like I said, if you have any of those like crazy ideas, shoot him a message. He will literally take your idea. He's a genius.
His last like 3 or 4 pieces of equipment came from somebody coming to him saying, hey, I got this idea. Can you do it? And he figured out how to do it somehow. Even down to his RW1 equipment that I have. He's got some phenomenal stuff. I believe that works off sonar. So, I mean, he's got some crazy stuff. It pans the room, and when it hits, it dings like really loud. Which I like that because if I can just leave it in the room and walk away,
it'll tell you how far away something crossed in front of it. Like there's a little blip on the LCD screen, and it'll tell you how far away it was pinged, and it'll save on that screen. So if you are out of the room and you hear it go off and you run back to the room, you'll see where it pinged.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really cool design.
Ronnie, we're not going there. This is a Christian team that we're interviewing. We're not going there.
Leave it to Ronnie to bring that back.
Ronnie?
Oh gosh, I'm gonna do.
It is an interesting idea. We're not going to talk about this show, but just use your imagination there.
Well, clearly,
bring it up.
Clearly, this couple right here knows what a B plug is, so we're just going to leave it at that.
I'm a firefighter. I work on an EMT. I've seen a lot of things.
Well, if you ever run across a REM pod B plug stuck in somebody, please, you got to message me and let me know, because this was a whole topic of conversation one podcast.
So let me know if you got to take it out.
Ronnie said we always talk about it. No need to be proper now. Shame on you. I know it.
You can't talk about that with everybody.
April was there for it. Look,
there were some people really interested in it, though. I mean,
I just, guys.
watch out for. You know,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I don't remember how we got on that topic, but that was a funny conversation.
Yeah. Like I
You
said,
know, 2 o'clock in the morning, you talk about some weird stuff.
Yeah, you do. You do. I agree with that.
so do y'all got anything coming up? Any public or I mean not public, but any pay to play or
Well, let's see. This weekend we've got some Paracons coming up, and then we have 2 events.
Mhm.
What's the name?
So this weekend we're at Echoes Paranormal. Is it Echoes? It's called
Yeah, Echoes. Yep.
They're a little Paracon.
St. Joseph, Missouri.
Yep.
Oh wow, that's a hike. Well, no, I mean
for us it is.
it's a hike for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about 2 hours for us. So we have that this Saturday, and then we're gonna meet up with Patriot Paranormal afterwards for a little bit and hang out with them. We've never met them in person, and then let's see, the end of September we have another Paracon in Missouri.
Bordertown Paracon.
Right, Missouri?
No, that's in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. See, I don't know where we're going. He drives, so I just show up. And then
after that, you have your first gallery reading.
yep, and then we have an event here at Old Abilene Town Old Abilene Town.
Yeah, Abilene, Kansas. It's a recreation of the way Abilene was back in Wild West days.
Oh, that's cool.
Abilene was the end of the Chisholm Trail where they drove the cattle up from Texas to Kansas to put them on the rail cars. So Old Abilene Town is where the Cowboys got paid, and that's where they played. So it's a whole town of probably
7 to
8 buildings that we run the paranormal side for it, and every year we do a big event and have a lot of fun. We get a lot of good evidence out of this place.
Yeah.
That sounds cool. Wild Wild West, like shoot 'em up, bang.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
How do y'all feel about an SLS camera?
I'm not a fan.
Leah said no.
I feel like SLS the same as I do as like the Ghost Talker apps on your phone. It's just like it's good for entertainment, but I wouldn't give it to somebody and call it evidence.
April says she hopes she can team up with you guys in the future.
Absolutely.
Us too, April, hit us up.
Yes, yes. Collaboration is key.
Hashtag Para
This
Unity.
year has been all about collaboration with other teams for us. All of our investigations has been with other people and meeting teams. And I don't think we've done outside of residentials. I don't think we've done an investigation by ourselves yet this year.
Not this year. But it's been great. That's kind of what we wanted to do: get to know people and like we all talk about their techniques and just collaborate together and see what evidence you can come up with and what fun you can have. You know,
Right.
We do have another event in Atchison too. I forgot about that.
Atchison, Kansas. We will be doing a ghost hunt there at Backroad Atlas. It's in an
antique store.
Yeah,
Oh,
we've
cool.
never done that before, so we're excited about that one. And then we're supposed to go to the Missouri State Penitentiary in November. So,
Ronnie, yes.
I'm down. We haven't really collaborated much with
What are you doing this weekend, Ronnie?
other teams. Ron already said he can't go.
Shit. If anybody knows any teams near Kentucky, please call me. We could definitely team up.
We will be
this
in Kentucky
weekend.
this weekend.
Yes. We had some people and they are unable to go, unfortunately. So we're flying solo. I do have one more question before I let you guys know. Beer Olympics. This escalated. The Beer Olympics.
where is this?
Yeah, where is this? I'd like to go.
There's a beer Olympics.
I don't know. I want to find out because I could participate in that. April said, I would say come to South Dakota, but not much here. Just 2 locations they let you investigate. South Dakota, don't they have like buffaloes out there and stuff? I haven't been to
I
South
don't
Dakota.
think so.
I don't think I've ever been to South Dakota either, but I would love to go to South Dakota.
Hey, we'll go to South Dakota and do those 2.
She said, yes, they have buffaloes. I want to
We'll go
go
to South Dakota and do those 2 locations
and see the buffalo.
and see the buffalo.
Like,
No, I want to like see them.
Can I bring my rifle?
Oh, he said he's busy because they're doing the Beer Olympics this weekend.
Oh, I didn't get an invite.
Right?
I would have rescheduled.
Yeah, I could have won the gold on that one. For sure. Okay, really quick though, I do have one more question, and it's a loaded question. You said you're a firefighter, right?
I am.
Why is it? And I don't even know if you can answer this. So if there's somebody in the chat that can, let me know too. Why are firefighters so interested in the paranormal?
Oh yeah,
I've got to know. I have met like almost, I want to say at least a dozen teams where there is a firefighter on their team.
Well, I can give you two answers. I can give you one, a bullshit answer, or two, I can give you a serious answer. Which one do you want?
let's hear both of them.
Yeah, I want to hear the bullshit first.
First one is bullshit. Okay. We see so much weird shit on calls, and we're just like, you want to see the weirdest stuff, the craziest stuff. And that's what excites, that's why we're so weird. You know, we want to see the weird stuff, the crazy stuff. So it would make sense that paranormal is right there with it. You want that excitement. So the serious answer is, on a lot of these calls, especially the traumatic ones, the sad ones and stuff, or in the back of the ambulance, there's a vibe, there's a feeling that you get when you're around a patient who dies on you, or you roll up on a car crash and you see it's a really bad one. It sticks with you, and it'd be nice to know that there's, nice to know. Seeing something like for the afterlife, for the family or for that person, maybe that's something that would be a question that they would want to chase. Like,
Is there something
is there something after you die? That kind of thing,
So then I've got to ask you a secondary portion to that.
Follow-on
Being that you have been seeing, a lot of traumatic events and things like that, have you ever pulled up on scene and experienced something on scene that has kind of changed your perspective towards, I absolutely 100% believe there's life after death?
I have a completely different story as to why I believe that there's something after death. It has nothing to do with firefighting. But to answer your question, no, I've not pulled up on any scene that made me that has changed my view on what's next. But what did not really change, but solidify my view on what's next was when she died twice, and what she saw when she died and what she experienced is something that is out of this world for me. So, yeah.
I mean, I think that'll change anybody's perspective, to be honest with you. I mean, especially if you have, an after death experience, or, like you said, you've died twice. You've been, who was it? The Ghost Hunting Housewives. When we interviewed them, they, both of them had a similar experience where they, coded.
Mm-hmm.
And the things that they saw afterwards, we never truly know what's next until we experience what's next.
Right.
And I don't even think, in a situation where we're all sitting here and having this conversation, that we were just given a snippet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yep.
100%.
But you see all those YouTube
Yeah, it's
videos.
got deep.
I know. I had to like break that up
I'm
because
over here looking at the screen like I'm watching a TV show.
it's emotional. But you see those YouTube videos of like the car crash scenes that they catch the actual like spirit leaving the body.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm fascinated with those YouTube videos. Like, I can watch them all day long because I'm like, my investigator side comes out and I'm trying to debunk it.
Yeah.
And 2B, when you hit one of those videos that you play over and over again, you can't debunk it. You start to wonder, I wonder if the firefighters have seen stuff like this, or the paramedics have seen stuff like this.
It's not really have seen a lot of stuff, because there's a lot of hustle and bustle on scenes,
Yeah.
So it's not like we don't get a lot of time to sit back and just observe the whole scene. But when you do get a second to catch your breath and kind of just take in the whole environment, it does feel different. You know, it does feel like there's something there. Like, you know, like grandma's laying on the bed, but she's still here watching, you know?
Right.
So
I believe it. But I think that's interesting though, that firefighters and April said it too, or a paramedic. Well, Mike's a paramedic and a firefighter. He's got the best of both worlds over here.
or worse, depending on what you look at.
Well, you're helping people in more ways than one. You're helping people in real life and the afterlife.
Yeah.
So you got kind of an advantage there.
If I fail to help them on one side, I could always help them again on the other side, right?
That's right. Hey, Howie. That's right.
Well,
So if anybody wants to find you on socials, YouTube, are you on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter? Where are you at?
Yeah, all of them.
All of them.
Everywhere.
L&M Paranormal will pop right up.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Mike and Leah, do you have any questions for us before we wrap this up?
Oh man, I think we could sit here and BS all night.
We can.
I want to shout out Ed Odell real quick. ASPS.
Yes. ASPS, All Seeing Paranormal Society.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good.
You got to get like a different voice to say that though.
I feel like when I talk to Howie, I got to speak with that British accent.
We need like a British accent for Howie. April, Daryl, you guys have a wonderful night.
Thanks, guys.
We'll have to have you back sometime in the future, and we can catch up after all these events and residentials and all that fun stuff that you guys do.
We
Yeah,
would love
definitely.
to. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, and thank you for all you do. We appreciate you. You're helping people, and that that says a lot about your character.
Yeah, I learned a lot from y'all tonight.
Yeah,
I did.
for sure.
Thank you so
All
much.
right. You guys, thank you all for tuning in. I'm Courtney.
I'm Sean.
We're Hill City Paranormal, HCP Paranormal Podcast. We air live every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Next Tuesday, we will be speaking with the mysterious Mike and Sam. We've got round 2 with them. So 8 p.m., tune in live here. You heard it first. Everybody have a wonderful night.
Good
See
night.
you on the other side.